Bellator 259 MMA is Friday, May 21st on Showtime and Bellator YouTube. And South Florida is well represented. American top teams, Austin Vanderford is on the main card on Showtime, co-main eventing, battling Fabian Edwards in a middleweight bout. Austin, thank you so much. Hey, what does this fight mean to you?
This fight means a lot to me. It's another ranked opponent. The ranking system just came out, and this is kind of a guy who, said some things in the past, and a guy I've really wanted to fight. So it means a lot to me. Represent American top team and my team, my family, and first round management. And man, I've just decided to go out and get the job done.
What does this fight mean to you?
This fight means, just another step up to my ultimate goal in being a world champion. So, each fight is another stepping stone and another level that I need to reach. And, ultimately, my goal is to be a world champion, and I want it with all my heart. And, this is just something that I need to do and go complete en route to getting that world title.
What do you know about your opponent?
My opponent is, he's a well-rounded fighter. He's a striker, a little bit taller of a guy. He's got a brother who's a very accomplished fighter as well in the UFC. And, he's going to come out and he's going to be tough. He's going to be ready to bang. And I need to be prepared to go 3 hard rounds and, and take him into deep waters. And I feel like me putting on my pressure and imposing my will on him, I'm going to be able to break him.
It's interesting with fighters because each fight takes its own course. Each fight can be very different.
Yeah.
So even if you watch film of a fighter, watch them on TV, wherever, how much does that play a role in when you're preparing for a fight?
Yeah, watching your opponent before the fight, you can pick up little habits that they tend to do, but ultimately, you get in there. And as soon as that first punch or kick lands or, first grappling exchange, things kind of change a little bit. And you kind of go into, I wouldn't necessarily say autopilot, but, your training starts taking over. And the things that you're doing in the training room and all that, it kind of starts taking over. And, just making sure we're well prepared and ready to go out and do anything that, he might throw at us and whatnot. But really just leaning on our training habits and what we do here in the mat room.
Are the stakes higher for you because of your record?
Not necessarily. I think, I think really my whole career I've had, as far as my pro career, I married my wife early on in my pro career. And, I've kind of had a spotlight on me ever since then and whatnot. And so, I think there's always been just a level of pressure on me coming up. I fought on the Contender Series and whatnot, and, it doesn't really bother me. I've competed at a high level my whole life. I've wrestled my whole life, and, wrestling's not as much of a popular sport, but, you go out there and it's you versus the other guy, and the spotlight's on you, and, so I'm used to that. I'm ready, and I'm prepared. Really, more than anything, I'm excited. Excited to go out, show what I've done here at American Top Team, all the hard work my coaches and teammates have put in with me, and go out, represent, and try to get that world title.
How do you prepare mentally for a fight?
I think just knowing what you're going to get into, and I'm prepared to do that. I know the risks. I know what I'm going out to do, and I love it. I wouldn't do it if I didn't love it. So, we come in here, we bleed, we sweat every day here in the mat room, and, I think that's good of a preparation as there comes. And, I'm prepared to go out and lay it all on the line and, break my hands, get cut, do whatever. I'm going out there and I'm going to be victorious on May 21st.
Bellator 259 Friday, May 21st on Showtime. Record-wise, you are undefeated. Edwards has 1 loss. Both of you are battlers. This has the makings of a really good fight. How do you look at that too, if you could expand on that part?
Yeah, I think this is a very exciting fight. I think we got two talented fighters going out there, and he's chasing the goal just as much as I am, and it's gonna come down to some heart and some will and some grit, and I put myself up against him, and I'm excited for that, and I want to make this an ugly fight, make it a bloody fight, and I think if all that goes, I'm gonna come out victorious.
With a victory at Bellator 259, where does that take you?
I think I move up another notch there in the rankings, and I think by the end of 2021, I could see a title shot. I'm not rushing anything, and I wanna earn my spot for sure, and I want to make sure I'm beating the guys who are ahead of me, and the guys who maybe feel they deserve their spot as well. So, right now though, I'm just focused on Fabian and getting that job done, and going in there, because if I don't, it all goes out the window right there anyway. So I'm super focused on Fabian right now, and going out there and hurting this man.
Austin, you mentioned amateur wrestling. What is your background school-wise for amateur wrestling?
Yeah, so I started wrestling actually when I was 6 back in Alaska. I had a couple state titles in Alaska in high school, and then moved on to Southern Oregon University. I was a national champion in college there, 2-time All-American, and all that. So I got a strong wrestling background.
A good pedigree.
Yeah, and I think that wrestling mindset carries me a long ways in my fighting career. I think there's nothing quite as tough as wrestling, and it instills a certain mindset into you, and I really think I'm going to lean on that going into this fight as well.
Isn't it something how MMA has really just grown? And for you, when you were wrestling back in school and college, were you considering even them a career in MMA, or were you looking at other options?
Yeah, I think always deep down I knew I've always wanted to be a professional athlete, and I finished up wrestling. Even my style in wrestling, a lot of guys are telling me, man, you gotta get into that MMA once you're done. And my family has always been really into MMA and watching the fights, and we always thought that was a possibility, but I actually finished wrestling in college, and I coached a couple years. I had a hard time getting amateur fights just because of my wrestling background and whatnot. So, there was a short little period, when I was 24, 25, where I didn't know if I was gonna fight, or if I was really gonna get the opportunity. And everything happens for a reason, and it all kind of fell into place. And thankfully now we're rolling, and I'm chasing that world title.
Austin, did you get your college degree?
I did get my college degree. Yeah, and that was something important to my family. I got a degree in sociology, and and that's part of the reason I went back and started coaching, was to finish up school and get my education.
That's good, because you always have something to fall back on too.
Yeah, yep.
How did you get the nickname The Gentleman?
My wife kind of put it on me, and I like to think of myself as a nice guy too, and a respectful guy, and all that changes once the cage door locks, but until then, I don't see a reason why to go around acting like a jerk and being like that. We're all I'm a humble guy, and I think MMA has made me that way, because there's always somebody else who can kick your butt, and so I think MMA and fighting makes you a humble person. I think more people should get into it, and I think we'd have nicer people and more humble people run around.
So Austin, I'm thinking too, you're opening the door for the ladies and tipping your hat if you're wearing one. I'm thinking along those lines too.
Yeah.
It's interesting because you went from ATT, American Top Team Portland, to ATT, American Top Team right now here in South Florida, Coconut Creek. What's that been like?
Man, it's been an amazing transition. I love my team and my coach Fabian Edwards back in Portland, but this is the best team in the world and the best coaches in the world. teammates, and Dan Lambert, he's, you know, created something that it really can't be replicated anywhere else. And you know, I feel really fortunate and honored to train here and represent the American top team when I go out and fight. And you know, we've been here for a little less than a year now. We're settled in really well, and man, I couldn't imagine training anywhere else.
Portland, Alaska, all that area.
Yeah.
Was there anything in particular, hey, let's go to South Florida?
You know, yeah, I'm from the Northwest. You know, I'm from Alaska originally, and then Portland. Really, you know, I think just chasing the best team and wanting to be in the best position. I've always kind of been at a smaller spot. You know, growing up in Alaska, I was in a smaller school. You know, Portland's not necessarily the biggest MMA community. And I wanted to test myself, and I wanted to, you know, I was getting a little comfortable where I was at, and I feel like to grow, you got to find that uncomfort. And I definitely, you know, moving here was an uncomfortable, and you know, you always wonder about the what ifs and the unknowns, and you know, I didn't want any of that when I finished up my career, and I thought coming here and fighting for the best team in the world would sure up a lot of that stuff.
Well, in Austin, you traded snow for year-round sun. Was that okay?
Yeah. We're talking about we just bought some property in Alaska, so we're gonna build a little place in my hometown in Alaska. So we'll go and visit. We visit quite a few times a year, anyway. So we get our share of snow.
And what was sports like in Alaska? I don't know too much about Alaska. The only thing,
Yeah.
Austin, the only thing I know, ice fishing in Alaska.
Yeah.
What's it like up there? Or the dog sled races? And stuff too?
I did around the mushing. Alaska's unique, and you know, it's really molded me into the person I am, and I'm very thankful for that. You know, I say my town is technically a village in Alaska, really small. I grew up kindergarten through 12th grade, all one school. There was like 150 kids in the entire school. I think my graduating class I was one of 16 kids in my graduating class. So a lot of travel. I got to see and experience a lot of really cool Alaskan cultural things, and you know, a lot of unique stuff. Stuff that we don't necessarily get here, you know, in Florida, I can imagine. But you know, the opportunities aren't necessarily the biggest in Alaska, and you see there's a lot of talented people there who, you know, just they stick around. My brother actually he's on the Deadliest Catch. He's a crab fisherman, and he just stays in he's an Alaskan fisherman, you know, lifelong fisherman. And
I love that show.
Yeah. My brother was I think 3 seasons of the Deadliest Catch and all that. So
That's crazy stuff,
Yeah,
though, man.
yeah.
Hey, well, but you put your life on the line.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
What did you think, real quick? What did you think when you first seen him then? You seen him on this show, The Deadliest Catch. You know what he did.
Oh yeah, I know he was the most famous one in our family to start. You know, so he was the first famous one, and you know, he's a hardworking. He's a fisherman. Man. He's fishing right now. He's doing the herring season right now. So yeah.
Have you ever gone out on a boat like that?
Not that, but I grew up commercial fishing in the Nilchik as well. Our family owns some fishing sites, and then I worked for a guy. My brother-in-law and I worked for a guy in the Nilchik, Dan Lehman, and yeah. So I grew up fishing as well, and I think that helped with instilling a hardworking mindset too.
Biggest catch for you?
So when I was in high school, I did deckhanding. I cleaned fish for halibut charter, and the biggest one we brought in was 315. 350-pound halibut. Yeah.
I know you're still focused and busy in your MMA career, and I would want to cover this and go over this and a few more questions, but have you gone fishing here yet in South Florida?
No, I haven't.
Keys. Have you gone down to the Keys?
No, not yet. But we plan on that after this fight. We plan on trying to see things, and we right when we got here, I had a fight, and unfortunately I broke my hand, had to get some surgeries and all that. So, and then Paige fought, and so we were a little tied up. But you know, after this one, we're gonna get out and do some Florida stuff.
Think you might go charter a boat or do something like that?
Yeah, go do some saltwater fishing for sure. Yep.
How's the hand?
The hand's great. Yeah, honestly, couldn't even tell that I did anything to it. So.
How long has this camp been for this fight?
It's tough. I don't ever necessarily consider myself in a camp because I like to train all the time, and this is what I love to do. And you know, after a fight, I'll take a week off or whatever, but then I'm right back into it and you know, trying to get better and trying to improve. So it's tough to say really, you know, how long.
Who coaches you? Who you've been sparring with for this one?
Yeah. So my head coach is Pahupa here, jiu-jitsu master. Anderson Franca for my striking, Steve Mako for wrestling, Mike Brown. You know, that's the wonderful thing. Tiago Pitbull has helped me out a lot, and you know, and then my sparring partners, Yaroslav, who is fighting for the world title, for the welterweight world title, Johnny Eblin, you know, Tony Murphy, Conan's son Josh. A lot of really great guys, so that's the allure of coming here, and you got a room full of killers and good training partners every day.
Johnny just celebrated a victory.
Johnny just had an awesome victory, you know, super happy for him there too. You know, he's a really hard worker and deserved that for sure.
Valerie Loureda, also of American Top Team, is on the Bellator 259 card. Does it mean anything when you have other fighters from the team on the same card?
Yeah. I think having fighters on our team all fighting on the same card is awesome. You know, it's kind of a, you know, we're a big family here, and we're teammates. And although it's an individual sport, you know, and even some of us fight in the same weight class, you know, but still, like Johnny, you know, I was so happy for Johnny, and I know we're all chasing the same goals and stuff, but you know, we're teammates and we're here to help each other and get each other to that next level. So having Valerie on the card's awesome. You know, it's there's a level of comfort being able to look over and see one of our teammates and know that we've been in here and we've been grinding together here in the mat room and in training, and you know, confident in one another to go out and get the victory. And I think it feels good to have a teammate win, and you know, you kind of carry that momentum going into your fight.
And Bellator 259 will be at the Mohegan Sun Arena again in Uncasville, Connecticut, with no fans.
Yeah, no fans yet, which is a bummer. I'm excited to have the fans back, but you know, I grew up in the world of wrestling, and we didn't necessarily always have a lot of fans anyway. So when it's time to go to battle, I'm ready to go out and put it on, regardless of if there's people in the crowd or not.
Did you have Olympic aspirations? The Olympics are coming up this summer, and wrestling be part of that event in Tokyo. Was that something you were shooting for?
No, I think I always I wanted to fight more than anything. You know, winning a national title in college, we got an invitation to train at the Olympic Training Center and whatnot, but you know, it just wasn't something that I was passionate about, and you know, I thought I had a better shot at being an accomplished MMA fighter than I did an Olympic athlete.
Do you still watch any wrestling? Yeah,
I do. Yeah, we watched the D1 national tournament, and I'm so close with my coaches back in Oregon, and so I watched some wrestling.
Did you check out the heavyweights? University of Minnesota, Gable
Stevenson, yeah, which is awesome. I think he's going into pro wrestling, which is really cool too.
He made the Olympics, so he's going to do that.
Yep.
And then he's huge, and I was going to get into that. He's huge into WWE.
Yeah.
He was just at a big event they had, NXT TakeOver, WrestleMania weekend. He was sitting there, they made a big deal. It was really cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's really big into that. And his brother, Bobby, too, is into it as well. His Bobby wrestle. But yeah, I didn't know if you got to see him wrestle. Then he did his backflip afterwards.
It's scary to see a guy that big and that athletic. I think it's crazy.
Are you, or have you ever been a fan of pro wrestling?
Yeah, I have. I was a fan of The Undertaker when I was a kid, and you know, we talked a little bit about Paige going into pro wrestling, and I thought that would be a really cool cool venture, and it'd be cool for me to be around those guys and see those guys.
Did you ever get to see a show? I don't even know if they ever came to Alaska.
No, but when I was a kid, we would get SummerSlam and all the big events, for our birthdays or something, and my stepdad would get it for us and all that.
Did you ever get to visit the WWE Performance Center? Paige said she went to visit there up in Orlando. It's a huge training facility they have.
Yeah, I didn't get to go. No, I didn't go. I think I was preparing for a fight.
And what also do you think of just, it's different. We'll wrap it up with this part for the WWE. It's different because obviously in MMA, it's you against your opponent. You want to destroy that guy.
Yeah.
In WWE, it's still very athletic, very physical, and there are risks.
Yeah.
But it's more about entertainment and all like that. Do you think you might lend yourself to something in that venue or that avenue? Do you think that's something you could do?
I don't know if I could. I don't know if I have the acting skills or, and I'm so competitive that I don't know that I could lose something on purpose and all that. So I'm gonna stick with fighting and doing jiu-jitsu competitions and stuff like that.
If Paige gets into it, maybe you could be her manager.
Yeah, so I could.
Remember Paul Bear?
Yeah.
You could be her Paul Bear.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so cool. Thank you for answering the questions to that, because I love talking about that. And I know I'm throwing this in too, my gosh. Coach King Mo and Dan Lambert are huge pro wrestling fans, and they're part of Major League Wrestling, which is another company that's out there, very good company and all. And I'm just curious if you had any talks with them or they came up to you stuff or anything like that, but you knew that.
Yeah, and you can never say no. Maybe I will get into it, who knows. Yeah.
It's so cool. All right, so we'll wrap this up with this. You mentioned your wife a couple of times, obviously, Paige VanZant, and I'm curious because she's done a lot of other ventures. Dancing with the Stars, awesome.
Yep.
The one that really caught my eye was Food Network. Top Champs, the Celebrity Champ. I hear you're a pretty good cook though yourself.
Yeah, I know a little bit. I cook some different stuff than Paige, but
What do you got? What's your specialty? Do you have a specialty?
Biscuits and gravy. Yeah, that was kind of a family tradition growing up, and so I've kind of perfected it, and I would say that's what she would say my specialty is for sure.
And when she's getting ready for stuff like that, are you helping her at all as far as cooking stuff in the kitchen with her and then even dancing with her to get ready?
No, I definitely do. I help her out, and I'm the sous chef and all that. It's
so interesting because too, do you find yourself even fighting, helping each other, talking to each other, and then also having time where it's, hey, let's go relax and just chill and get away from all this stuff?
Yeah, for sure. I think she'll be in my corner for this fight, and she always is. And she knows me better than anybody else, and I can lay my heart on the line to her and all that. But she's the one who really drives us to take more time off and vacation and just enjoy life. And for me, I'm still relatively young in the sport. She's been in it, gosh, probably 5 years longer than I have. So
she started so young.
Yeah, I'm still like so obsessed with it and wanting to train all the time, and she's the one who has to kind of rein me back a little bit.
So cool. Anything you'd like to close with? Any of your social media? Anything more about Bellator 259, Friday, May 21st? You are on the main card. You are on Showtime.
So just follow me, Austin Vanderford on IG, and big shout out to my coaches and team here at American Top Team, Dan Lambert, and my management team, Malky Kawa, Abe Kawa, best in the game, and they were really the #1 driving force in getting us here, and we're forever grateful for that.
Austin, the gentleman, thank you so much for the time.
Awesome. Thank you so much.